Okay, so I'm gonna talk about these changes. SMOE and EPIC used to include high schools and middle schools, but due to some changes, it's just going to be no. Due to some changes, it's only going to be elementary school now. Now, I'm one of the lucky few who gets to be in high school, but that's because I'm qualified. But let me tell this in a form of story, and this includes the government. So this year is kind of election year, and as you guys may have noticed, well, one part of living in Korea is that the media is not going to be very nice to you. Pretty much every frustration and venting and all forms of stress get redirected towards the foreign community in Korea through like the media. Now, according to them, we're like drug using, AIDS infested, child molesting, abusive foreigners who just come to Korea and get drunk and get gross. But, um, anyways, because this kind of mentality exists that foreigners are like bad or whatever, the government kind of panders to the voters. So they say, "Oh, we're gonna get rid of all the teachers in Korea to make more jobs for Korean teachers that are qualified." But and on top of that, they're going to give free lunch to students. So everyone's happy. There's just some problems in that there's not enough Korean qualified teachers to go around teaching English like that. And since schools are forced to give free food to the students, they don't have money for maintenance or to do other activities. So a lot of schools are kind of falling apart, and parents are kind of getting pissed off about that. But that's too late because it already happened. And all the SMOE kind of had to deal with it. So they make their extra money from I don't know where, but they still had to cut lots of teachers. So they kind of pushed all the teachers to elementary because it's just more. Well, it's part of like pedant, like well, it's been known in linguistics that like children learn better when they're young. I mean, that's no surprise. So it is more effective to have teachers in elementary rather than in upper levels, but it's still really useful in my opinion. But anyways, because of that, all the teachers got moved to like elementary, and there's only a handful of English teachers in high school. So that's kind of where I ended up. But because of this change, there's also a big gap in the rich and the poor in Korea. No, because of that, there's also going to be a big gap between the rich and the poor in Korea because right now the Hagwons are getting really, really rich over a new test called the NEET test. And this NEET test is going to include writing and speaking skills. So because of that, all these Hagwons are like popping up all over the place, and since public school doesn't have English teachers anymore, like high schools, then all the parents are basically going like sending their kids to Hagwons. So the Hagwons are making all this money. There's a big influx of foreigners coming to Korea, more than what the government wanted initially. So now there's more foreigners per square Korean. Uh, it was pretty amazing when the test got announced, and suddenly, like not even a few weeks later, boom, all these foreigners in my area. So strange. But on top of that, the government got rid of Saturday classes in Korea. So you would think the students like that, but I actually talked to them about it and they said that they hate it because they have to make up those days in their vacation. So their vacations are shorter, and parents, being the very loving parents kind that they are, make students go to Hagwons on Saturdays. So it doesn't really help anyone. And like I said, the rich people can afford to send their kids to Hagwons or whatever and get the higher test scores and get into universities. But the poor people that can't afford to send their kids to Hagwon are really missing out. But in return, they get free lunch. So there's this big mess going on. I actually wrote a post about it if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, for the most part, that's the gist of it. Teaching in Korea. It's going back home. Just lovely, you get to see all the sights and sounds, construction. Like I said, I live at a women's university, so you see lots of girls all the time. It's quite dandy. But anyways, I really enjoy my job. It's a good job despite all the bullshit you have to deal with or hear all the time. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm not sure I'll make this in Spanish because it's kind of a lot. So I'll see you guys next time, man. Please leave your thoughts, like, comments, share, because you know that helps me in my YouTube viewer rating. So I'll see you guys around. And they really didn't give a shit about English. But now I'm in a regular public school where they have to give a shit. It's in their future. So I wake up